Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Problem With, and we're on the off the record. If you know what this is the part that we talked about the current news. And I had a long list of news that we had to cover, but yeah, there was this big bombshell that the Wall Street Journal just dropped, and this is, I mean, there's a lot of terrible things going on right now, but oh my God, could this be? Finally? Is this the one that the Republicans will finally wake up? Well, probably not, but woo, let's go. Okay, let's cut through the noise real quick. Ooh, because I need to say this loud and clear. Okay, so the Wall Street Journal didn't just drop this little bombshell. Like I said, it was a full-blown detonation, a body blow to the sanitized mythology of Donald Trump. And despite what the right wants you to believe, this is not some obscure article that got buried. No. This is front page news from the Wall Street Journal, and it's everywhere now. Everywhere. I mean, from CNN, MSNBC, your local news, every podcaster you know is talking about it. They went live. They went, oh my God. I mean, is it? This is trending on social media everywhere. People are talking about it because no one's staying quiet about this. Now, the only ones who are trying to stay silent or say it was fake are Trump and his loyal enablers, his lawyers, his surrogates, the whole Republican Party, his vice president, Elon Musk, saying this fake, all that stuff. And they always do the same thing they always do when they get caught. They scream fake news, call it a hoax, and threaten to sue. Every single time. Because that's their playbook. Trump doesn't deny what's in the story. He attacks the people reporting it. He threatens lawsuits not because he's innocent, but because he's exposed. And at this time, what he's exposed for isn't just political corruption or financial scandal. It's something far darker. And you know, the other part I want to mention is that he's suing the Wall Street Journal, that is notoriously that is owned by Rupert Murdoch, a super right-wing conservative who will try to defend Trump as much as he can. And for them to drop this is like chef's kiss. All right, so let's talk about what the article actually says. The Wall Street Journal got access to a private birthday album by Ghislaine Maxwell, put together for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday in 2003. Inside that album, messages, letters, drawings from Epstein's tight-knit circle of elite friends. Keep that in mind. This was made for Jeffrey Epstein by his girlfriend, who was in jail right now for 20 years for recruiting women for sex trafficking. And this was meant to be only meant for the tight-knit circle of elite friends, and Trump was in it. Yes, I'm going to say one of those friends was Donald Trump. He didn't just sign the card. He wrote a full makeup message. He did a full message under a hand-drawn nude female figure. Drew in, and he put his signature to symbolize the pubic area. And he signed his name right on top. Oh my gosh, it's so gross. And in the message he wrote, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." To which this was an imaginary conversation that Trump created for the birthday card. So I'm going to do it again. So this is what Trump wrote. This is Trump. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. To which Epstein allegedly replied, this is Trump saying what Epstein would say. He said, "Yes, we do." And then the closing line, like the cherry on top, it says, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." What the fuck do you mean by that? Like, that's not an innocent joke. That's not some boys will be boys frat boy humor. That is very explicit. That's knowing. And it's in the middle of a private gift book assembled by a woman now convicted of sex trafficking for one of the most well-known abusers in modern American history. Like, this is not coincidence, guys. It's a pattern. It's in writing. There's pictures. There's everything. Like, what else do the Republicans need? Okay, anyways. So what does Trump do when this breaks? He releases a statement claiming it's all fake. He says it never happened. He promised to sue the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, and anyone else involved. And then his inner circle, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Laura Loomer, they start flooding the internet with denials. But notice something, they never denied that Epstein and Trump were close. They never denied their relationship. They never explained the message. All they do is attack the messenger because they know this isn't a smear. It's a snapshot of who Trump really is and who he was running with long before Epstein was a household name. And for a man who's been accused of sexual misconduct by more than 25 women found liable for sexual abuse in the court of law, and who bragged on tape about grabbing women without consent, like, you can't separate this message from the man. You can't spin it away. Like, this is obvious evidence. And obviously the Republican Party just voted to block any debate about releasing the Epstein files. The party that was claiming that there's some corruption going on by the Democrats now are blocking any way to expose the list. Oh, this is just getting started, guys. Like, we gotta get deep dive on this. It's crazy. Like, I need a second. I need a second, guys. Whew. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And look, let me tell you why this story is so important and why this hits hard. It's not a dusty 2003 curiosity. It's not something that you just find on a coffee table and you say, oh, that's awkward. Okay, whatever. No, this was the Wall Street Journal on today, July 17, 2025. Dropped this bombshell. They uncover a greasy handwritten note from Trump to Jeffrey Epstein tucked inside Epstein's private archive. This isn't rumor. It's documented-based journalism. They combed through photos, calendar entries, letters, and birthday cards Epstein got over the years. Among this was a card from Donald J. Trump signed simply, "With best wishes, Donald." Okay, that seems like not innocent, but let me tell you, nothing about this whole setup is normal. Okay? Because it wasn't 2003, it was 1997. The Wall Street Journal tracking actually includes a 1997 greeting card, which predates Epstein legal troubles by nearly a decade. And then two, it came from Trump, one of the only a handful of high-profile pictures. Epstein's archives was dense. Wealthy donors, political heavyweights, Harvard economists, and Trump ranks among the few celebrities / politicians to send anything. 3. The tone, short but pointed, signed with best wishes, Donald. Stated plainly, not flowery but meaningful, because you don't send a birthday card to someone you barely know. And why that matters? By 1997, rumors about Epstein were already swirling in elite New York City and Palm Beach circles. His parties, his affinities, they weren't secret, so Trump either looked the other way or actively maintained a cordial relationship. Context is everything. And so what was in this archive? Let me paint a picture. Imagine a leather-bound book. Not your average scrapbook, but a curated archive built by Maxwell, filled with risque cards, awkwardly boundary-pushing jokes, even nude sketches. The Wall Street Journal quotes from this archive: a nude outline of a woman, sketched in a heavy marker. Who else in that we know has an obsession with heavy markers, especially Sharpies? The note from Trump underneath, partially completing the pubic hair area. So he signed his name in the pubic area. In the typewritten conversation lines: Donald. This is what. So This is what it says. Donald. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yes, we do. And then Donald. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Now, many people are saying that this is not Trump. This is definitely not Trump. Yes, the fuck it is. Yes, it is. What a wonderful guy. Wonderful pal. He says these words. Oh, anyways. And that's not men's club banter. It's an intimate exchange that suggests a private understanding with Epstein. Like, why? So why does matter? 1. Closeness well before legal indictments. This wasn't a throwaway gesture post 2006. Trump's message came during a time when public discourse already questioned Epstein's behavior. He wasn't blind. He chose to associate. 2. Bypassing plausible deniability. Saying, I didn't know him well, won't wash. If you send a birthday greeting, you're telling the world you know him. Plain and simple. 3. Celebrity versus criminal ties. Other socialites may have sent generic cards, but only Trump did it with the tone and signature. It speaks volumes about his comfort level with Epstein. And then 4. Putting denial through a ringer. Trump's camp will scream fake, defamation, lawsuit, but they can't reclaim the card. They can't unsign it, and they haven't produced a contradiction. Why do I take out all of this and why you should care? I grew up with the message like this. I know who your friends are by how you write to them, joke with them, draw for them. And trust me, handwriting isn't just letters. It's a fingerprint. If you're in the papers defending this isn't real, it was typed, you're not denying friendship. You're denying your own style. You're saying, I never express affection, familiarity, or private jokes to someone with a pen on paper. It reeks of having something to hide. Like this tiny phrase, with best wishes, Donald. It's a thread that leads to a bigger tapestry, because 1997 was at the calm before everything blew up. Like, we're talking about a man who kept the casual relationships with a now convicted trafficker. And now we have we got documents, the archive, to prove. So whether Republican stronghold call it fake news or await some magical erasure, this one will stay. There's mounting pressure from Trump's base, and everybody's now starting to realize how big of a piece of shit he is. All right, well, let's move on for a second. We'll come back, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so now that we mentioned what today happened, let's step back and let's set the stage, because this wasn't just out of nowhere. This led up to a lot. Okay, so let's step back, because what we're talking about here didn't just start in 2019 after Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. It didn't start in 2006 when Epstein got charged. Hell, it didn't even start in the early 2000s. This goes back decades. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein weren't just casual acquaintances. They weren't business rivals who bumped into each other once or twice. No. These were tight. They were tight friends as far back as the 1980s. Trump and Epstein were moving in the same wealthy elite circles in Palm Beach and New York. I mean, let's paint the picture. It's the early 90s. Mar-a-Lago isn't some political stronghold yet. It's a party palace. And there's Trump throwing these exclusive parties. And who's there? Epstein. Who else? And about 28 women. According to an NBC video from 1992. Oh yeah, that's right. One of the few pieces of footage we actually have, Trump and Epstein laughing it up, women all around, all caught it on camera. This wasn't some grainy tabloid trash either. This was NBC archive footage. Trump's out there grabbing a cheerleader's waist, calling her hot. Sorry, didn't grab her, but pointed at her, calling her hot. Doing what he always does, getting a little too comfortable, acting like he's untouchable. And Epstein, oh, he's just standing right there, just observing, smiling, part of the scene. Now, let's talk about that party, because it really is something that sticks with you. 28 women, 2 men, and 1 big mansion that will later become ground zero for Epstein's recruiting operation. When that NBC footage resurfaced in 2019, people were shocked, but they should have been. This was never a secret. It just didn't get the attention until Epstein got arrested. And that's what bugs me. You don't throw a party like that with a guy and then turn around and say, I barely know him. That doesn't work. That's not just a lie. It's insulting. It's gaslighting. We saw the tape. We saw the body language, the laughs, the bro energy. You knew him, Trump. You liked him. You partied with him. You two are alike. And here's the thing. This wasn't some isolated event. This was part of a pattern, a lifestyle. Epstein wasn't just some background character. He was one of the main players in Trump's world back then. Okay, what I mean by that? It's like, actually, let me fast forward first. Because then it comes the infamous quote from 2002 in the New York Magazine. And this is what he said. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. Stop. Just stop. Like, come on. That's not just small talk, guys. Come on. That's not. We were at the same gala once. Like, that's not even we share some friends. That's admission. That's bonding over something disgusting. He said that like it was a joke. Like we were supposed to laugh. The Wall Street Journal has cited it. So has Yahoo, The Guardian, Wikipedia, everybody. That quote didn't age poorly. It was rotten from the start. If Trump didn't know what Epstein was about by then, it's because he didn't want to know. And if he did know, and he still says that, well, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about his moral compass. Compass, whatever the word is. I can't say those words anymore. Now let's fast forward a bit. 2003 to 2004. The relationship starts to change a little bit, but not for for the reasons you might think. See, Epstein's still around Mar-a-Lago in 2000. He's showing up with Ghislaine Maxwell. Melania is also there. This crew is all present and accounted for. Epstein even claimed he was Trump's closest friend for 10 years. That's not a handshake in the hallway, or that's someone who was always nearby. Private jets, parties, rumors. Then in 2004, they butt heads over a Palm Beach mansion. Trump wins the bid, and not long after, the narrative shifts, and Trump starts to pull away. Suddenly, we're hearing the Epstein's banned from Mar-a-Lago. Some say it was because he hit on a club member's young daughter. Yeah, that rumor. So yeah, they split, but don't buy the moral high ground spin. That falling out, that wasn't about ethics. That was about ego, about real estate, about status. If anything, the friendship only soured once it was personally inconvenient for Trump. Anything that he does, if you are no longer of use for Trump, he will throw you away. Oh, but then in 2006, Epstein arrested in Florida. The charges are serious. Underage sex trafficking, solicitation, all of it. Now, Trump decides to create some distance. Suddenly he's saying, I haven't spoken to him in 15 years. Or we had a falling out. Or he wasn't really a friend. Oh, for fuck, really? Why didn't he say that in 1998? When the whispers were already out there? Why not in 2002? When he was literally praising Epstein's tastes in younger women? Why not when Epstein was being investigated by local reporters and law enforcement long before the official charges? Because the only thing that changed in 2006 was public exposure. It wasn't that Trump learned something new. is that we learned something new. And once the public found out, that's when Trump pivoted. That's not morality, that's a PR strategy, that's crisis management 101. And he had that show and all that stuff. Come on, guys. He even in Access Hollywood tape saying that he will grab women by the pussy. They just let you do it, apparently. Come on. Like, oh gosh, you know. Anyways. And this is where it gets real. Because this timeline isn't just interesting, it's damning. Epstein and True knew each other since at least the 1980s. They socialized, traveled, and partied together. Trump praised Epstein's taste in younger women. They didn't fall out over morality. They fell out because of money. Trump only distanced himself when Epstein got charged. That's not a man guided by principle. That's a man who calculates risk. That someone who drops you the moment you become a liability, not when you become a predator. And if you're evaluating character, and if you're trying to understand who this man is, not just a businessman, but as a political figure, that matters. Because anyone who's running for president shouldn't be anywhere near someone like Epstein, but he was, for years, by choice. Again, I'm going to turn the tables, and I hate to do this because it's such a... I don't know, I hate... It's like, what if Obama was even accused of hanging out, like, and there's with Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s and 80s, and there's video evidence. Do you really think he would have made it as a president? Hell no. Now everybody's complaining that, oh, well, what about Bill Clinton? He was probably in the list. If he was, listen, I don't care. Whoever was on that list needs to be prosecuted. Don't try to say it's just Trump. But because he's currently the president, who should be impeached, not just because of many other things he's done, he is, and he's denying it, like there's no tomorrow. And people are going to say, oh, well, it's because if you got accused of something like this, you will deny it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me get more into this episode about it. Okay, now, and then here's the deal. I mean, that's not a coincidence. This is like, because this is Trump's pattern. He cozy ups to powerful people. He reaps the benefits. And the second things get messy, he jumps ship and rewrites the narrative. Because it wasn't just Epstein. Look at like Michael Cohen. Look at Roger Stone, Giuliani, Manford. The list goes on. Or the My Pillow guy. That Mike Lindell. He dropped him like a hot potato. He stays close until you're toxic. Then he rewrites history. It's not loyalty. That's not leadership. That's pure self-interest. And now with the Wall Street Journal's bombshell about the birthday note, Trump, I'm not going to say allegedly because we know he did, man. He's sent to Epstein come on. It's like we have the receipts. Actual receipts that show that Trump didn't cut ties the way he said. That even when the world knew Epstein was a predator, Trump was still trying to stay on good terms. So now we have a choice. We can treat it like it's gossip, like it's some reality TV subplot. Or we can treat it like what it is. A pattern of behavior, a refusal to take responsibility, and a man who values reputation over doing the right thing. And if that's who you're backing for, a third term, cool. Just know the whole story. Don't be suckered by the denials. Don't ignore the timeline. Connect the dots. Ask the hard questions. Because if we don't, we're just repeating the same cycle again and again and again. We'll keep going for a second. But man, I know I say it like I don't like to say allegedly, but I'm gonna put allegedly. He sent this for legal reasons, but jeez, man. In my heart, in my brain, I know he did this, but legally I have to say never mind. I'm gonna stop talking. So now I laid out all that stuff I just said, okay? And let me just be clear with this. Like, have you ever heard, they always say, birds of a feather flock together. But what happens when the whole damn flock is full of predators? And one of them's flying Air Force One. Like, what do we do here? Like, let's be clear, this isn't just about Trump knowing bad people. I know everybody will say, like, we always knew someone questionable in our lives. However, like, when we say someone questionable, we always say, like, oh, well, I knew he did some drugs on the side. Oh, I always knew he did some weird, something like that. Or, oh, I knew he liked to lick tables, stuff like that. No. Like, we don't go over like, oh, I knew this rapist. Like, this is about Trump having a consistent pattern of being very close, very friendly, and sometimes even professionally tied to men who are either convicted or credibly accused of sexual abuse, child exploitation, or enabling that behavior. And here's the kicker. These are the same people he never publicly condemned. In fact, he often praises them. Meanwhile, he's out here branding his enemies with baseless accusations of pedophilia. Yeah, you heard that right. He projects his circle, like he projects what he's done or what his circle has done. Like, let's start with Roy Cohn. He's Trump's mentor. Cohn wasn't just a New York lawyer. He was the guy behind Senator McCarthy's witch hunts in the 1950s. Literally one of the architects of Red Scare paranoia. And he later became a mob fixer, representing figures from the Genovese to the Gambino crime families. He helped Trump dodge federal investigations, skirt taxes, manipulate contracts, and fight lawsuits for decades. Oh, but there's more. Cohn was widely known, even among his elite circles, to prey on young men. And his parties were rumored to involve underage boys and drugs. While no criminal charges were ever filed, multiple sources, including Wayne Barrett and Marie Brenner, reported his behavior as well known among New York elites. Trump has been quoted saying Roy was his guide on how to win and how to hit back. And when Cohn died of AIDS in 1986, which Trump publicly denied was AIDS, Trump reportedly dropped him like a bad stock. Why does that matter? Because Cohn's playbook became Trump's: deny, attack, deflect, smear, and always protect your circle no matter what they do. Yes, he learned from a mob boss, is what I'm saying. Now, when I said that Roy Cohn liked young boys, I'm not saying Trump was one of them, neither. But you never know, actually. Anyways, sorry, I didn't say that. I should have not said that. Now, let's go to the next person. Let's talk about George Nader. Nader was a Trump donor and key figure in the 2016 transition and behind the scenes foreign policy liaison between the Trump team and the United Arab Emirates, UAE. He had meetings with Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, and Michael Flynn. And guess what? He's a convicted child sex trafficker. He was previously convicted in 1991 for importing child porn into the United States, and again in 2003 in the Czech Republic for sexually abusing underage boys. And in 2019, while cooperating with the Mueller investigation, he was arrested again and pled guilty to possessing child pornography and transporting a minor for sex. So you tell me that this guy had full access to Trump's inner circle, attended high-level meetings, and nobody saw a red flag? Like, wasn't some intern. He was officially listed in the inaugural donor. You can't make this shit up. And yet, crickets from Trump. No condemnation. No, lock him up. Just silence. Like, he's 2 for 2. Then we have Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime accomplice and recruiter of underage girls. When Maxwell was arrested in 2020 on federal charges of child sex trafficking, what did Trump say at the White House press conference? I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years. I wish her well. What? Excuse me? The President of the United States sends well wishes to a woman accused of recruiting and grooming children for sexual exploitation. You don't say that by accident. That was a deliberate move, a public wink. And let's be honest, Trump knew her well. They were photographed together numerous times at Mar-a-Lago, at parties in Manhattan. There's even reporting that Maxwell was invited to Trump's events as far back as the early 90s. Even when Trump pretends to distance himself, he can't help but protect these people. And then enter Alan Dershowitz. He's a Harvard law professor, media personality, and Epstein's defender. Dershowitz helped Epstein negotiate his sweetheart plea deal in 2008, the same deal that let Epstein serve 13 months in a Palm Beach jail with work release 6 days a week. He's also been accused by Virginia, I can't say her last, Virginia Giuffre, oh there we go, nice say, Virginia Giuffre of sexual abuse. An accusation he denies and is currently involved in a litigation over. But again, who does we see Dershowitz rubbing shoulders with? Trump. He was part of Trump's impeachment legal team in 2020, and that's not coincidence. Dershowitz is another figure who, like Khan, knows how to ban legal gray areas, protect the elites, and weaponize the court of public opinion. Trump isn't just friendly with him; he uses him as a tool. Birds flock together. And let me be very, again, crystal clear. This segment is not about guilt by association. This is about guilt by pattern. Trump repeatedly surrounds himself with men involved in sex crimes, trafficking, and/or pedophilia. He rarely condemns them. He often defends them. He gives them power, access, and platforms. And then, while all that's happening, he turns around and accuses his enemies of being the pedophiles. Like, this is not a coincidence. That is projection and is deflection. It's also classic authoritarian playbook. Smear your enemies with the crimes your allies commit. So when you hear MAGA loyalists talk about protecting kids or being the party of family values or screaming about pedophiles on the left, ask yourself, why did their leader wish Maxwell well? Why was George Nader not publicly disavowed? Why was Roy Cohn his mentor? Why was Alan Dershowitz always in the room? And there's many more. Why did he want Matt Gaetz to be his attorney general? Another known pedophile. Because the truth is, Trump's entire orbit has been littered with men who exploit, traffic, and abuse. And rather than distance themselves, he embraces them, protects them, and sometimes puts them on his team. Come on, this isn't a conspiracy. This is not some QAnon bullshit. It's a documented pattern. You can fact check every name, every quote, every connection. So the next time someone says Trump is the anti-pedophile candidate, just let them know to look at his crew. Because if you're trying to drain the swamp, maybe don't keep fishing with monsters. And let's just say, if Hunter Biden had sent Epstein a birthday card, oh, you know damn well Fox News will have built a studio on his grave to cover it. No, Hunter Biden's not that, sorry. It's just hypothetical, metaphorically. But because let's start with a fact. This is not a speculation. In early July 2025, just a couple of days ago, and even last week, new federal court filings confirmed that Donald Trump's long-standing ties to Jeffrey Epstein were even deeper than previously reported. The Wall Street Journal, not exactly a leftist machine, revealed that Trump sent a birthday card to Epstein sometime in the early 2000s. 2000. This is on top of what we already knew. Trump and Epstein were photographed together dozens of times. Trump once threw a party at Mar-a-Lago for just 2 men and 28 women, per NBC reporting. And let's not forget his famous quote in 2002. I'm going to do it again, because sometimes people forget. He's a lot of fun to be with. He's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. But here's the twist. This story, it's making a ripple now. And people was like, well, why didn't the Democrats didn't do it until when Biden? It's like, dude, I don't fucking know neither. It's like, in a normal world, this would have been shut down every network. And I think it is right now. But in 2025, it's going to get buried under gossip or celebrity scandals and endless coverage of Biden's age. Jake Tapper, you little piece of shit. The silence is because I don't think silence is going to be the problem. It's the politicians whose silence are going to be deafening because they're a bunch of cowards, both sides, but mainly the Republican Party. I'll explain why. Because, and here's the kicker. Because as of this recording, July 17, 2025, multiple GOP lawmakers have blocked ongoing efforts to unseal and investigate the Epstein files. Like, release the files, Epstein files. And like in early July, a bipartisan push in the House Oversight Committee to subpoena the final list of the Epstein associates was shut down, again by Republican leadership. In this committee, led by another terrible human being, Virginia Fox. If you know who she is, you will know she is. You know, she was like, you know, the civil rights pictures, like when they finally integrated the schools. She's one of those that was yelling in the background to keep black people from schools, like to keep segregation a thing. She is that kind of person, that type of person. She is, because she's a terrible woman. And her time is coming. And so the other people, Jim Jordan called it a distraction. The speaker Lee Stefanik said it was a politically motivated. Like, Josh Hawley and J.D. Vance voted against expanding a federal investigation into Epstein's political and financial ties, even after the new name surfaced in court. Why? Because Trump is on the list. Because their donors are on the list. Because this isn't just about Trump. It's about the entire elite structure that enables abuse and hides behind power. And let's not forget, back in January, Trump's legal team filed motions to redact his name from newly unsealed documents, and Republicans in Congress have remained completely silent about it. Like, this isn't just not talking about it, it's an active cover-up. Now let's talk about the QAnon movement, or whatever is left of it. For years, they scream about child sex rings. They plaster Save the Children everywhere. They believe Trump was some secret superhero working behind the scenes to expose a global cabal. But now that the receipts are in and Trump is tied directly, again, to Epstein, they're either silent, or they change the subject, or worse, double down in denial. Look at I don't even know if there's keyboards, but look at them if you can. I actually don't, because it's a terrible rabbit. Or look at Telegram channels. Some users are outright calling Trump a traitor, saying he lied about the files. Others are desperately spinning it. Maybe he infiltrated the circle to destroy it from within. I bet you money those are the Russian hackers, the Russian trolls. Anyways. No, like, you don't send birthday cards to the guy who you're trying to expose. You don't host private parties with your enemy. You don't wish whatever her fucking name is, the Maxwell Weller press conference, if you're serious about justice. And now that the Q crowd is waking up, they're realizing what many of us already knew. It was never about saving children. It was about consolidating power. And my question is, where was the media until this? Sure, the Wall Street Journal broke the card story, but where was CNN, MSNBC, ABC? All of them. CBS, all that stuff. Where's the investigative documentary? Where's the town hall on child trafficking and political elites? Where's the pressure on lawmakers? Because we got whole segments of, I don't know, Biden's going down, or segments about stuff that doesn't, like, nothing about the fact that a current president, not former president, current dictator in charge. The president maintained a friendly ties with one of the most prolific child traffickers in modern history. Why? Because access journalism protects the powerful. Because networks are afraid to lose elite guests. Because most of the people who fund these outlets don't want this story told. This is the same media class that sat on Epstein's crime for years. The same one that killed the ABC story in 2015. The same one that gave Alan Dershowitz prime time while survivors were begging to be heard. So no, they're not going to hold Trump accountable. They won't touch him unless we force them to. Sounding gross, but... And let's get very honest. If Hunter Biden had sent Epstein a card, Fox News would be launched a 24/7 countdown clock. If AOC had posed for a photo with Maxwell, she'd be banned from Congress. If Barack Obama had flown to the Lolita Express even once, Tucker Carlson will still be foaming at the mouth about it on a new Patriot Plus streaming service. Oh, but Trump, oh my God, they're so fucking quiet. Like, you got right-wing influencers, Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters, Gutfeld. I mean, they are just the same ones who scream about Pizzagate. They're just posting memes pretending this story is not real. And you got politicians covering for a man who openly admired Epstein's younger girls. This isn't about Trump partisanship anymore. Because this is about a moral rot, selective outreach in a Republican Party that will literally shield a child trafficker's friend to protect their political god. And they say the Democrats are in a cult? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, let's talk about why this matters. I know you guys are saying, but it's like, doesn't you already mention it? It's like, yeah, but let me. This is about more than just one birthday card. It's a system of power that protects the abusers, and how we let them be. It's like we let them by staying quiet, distracted, or tribal. And it's about how Save the Children became a branding campaign instead of an actual mission. It's about how the same people who push book bans, attack the LGBTQ teachers or anybody LGBTQ, and claim to defend children are the ones defending a man who wrote a birthday card to a predator, and I bet you money he is a predator himself. I mean he is a predator. He's been, you guys know. Are you? If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to my last segment. But so, what are we doing? Well, we gotta keep talking about it. We amplify the voices of the survivors, and we demand the release of every damn file, not redacted, everything. And we don't let the media memory hold it. It's like we remind people loudly, constantly, that justice isn't just a partisan thing. If you only care about protecting kids when it hurts your enemies, you don't care about kids. You care about control. And the truth is, this would have been a reckoning. Instead, the GOP turned into a cover-up. The rest of us, we have to keep shouting. Because history only forgets what we let it. And to close this episode, and I usually go with more stories, but this bombshell, guys, whew. Alright, so, and I'm just gonna say, here's the ugly truth about this. We always know, but not the details, not the paper trail, but the pattern, the photos, the quotes, the Mar-a-Lago parties, the wings, the denials, the silence when it counted. Now, there's a literal card, a piece of paper, handwritten, signed, from the president to one of the worst predators this country has ever seen. And let's not lie to ourselves. Let's not pretend this birthday card was some shocking revelation. I mean, it is shocking because it finally dropped, but it was a confirmation. But confirmation of what many of us have been saying for years. That Trump wasn't just adjacent to Epstein. He was part of that circle. That elite predatory protection for sale circle. The circle where men like Epstein don't get punished. They just got powerful friends. The card it's not the story. It's the receipt for the story we already knew was true. And if it rattles you, good, because that means you still have a conscience. I hope. You know what's the most dangerous part of all of this? It's not the parties, not the money, not even the sex crimes. It's the normalization of it. And like how quickly this country, this media, this public, this government can normalize a predator's proximity to power. How quickly we turn it into old news, a meme, a deflection, a partisan debate topic. But this isn't some policy disagreement. This isn't both sides. And what I mean by this, like, well, both sides are the same. Like, no. This is about children. It's about abuse, and it's about a system that knows and does nothing. Because that's the game, right? They stall, they distract, they spin, and eventually we move on. Here's the most chilling part. He never really hid it. Trump never hid it. He didn't hide the parties. He didn't hide the quotes. He didn't hide the photos. He didn't even hide the praise. Like, the 2002 quote alone should be disqualifying. Because that's not locker room talk. That's a man normalizing Epstein. He didn't hide it. People just chose not to look. Why? Because he made us laugh. Because he told it like it is. Because he made rich white people richer and gave angry white people someone to blame. And so the car gets ridden, the party's gone, the camera clicks, and we do nothing. And Trump's relationship with Epstein isn't just about two men. It's a mirror into a much bigger truth. That in America, power doesn't just protect itself. It rewards silence. Epstein didn't survive for decades because he was careful. He survived because he was useful. To banks, to politicians, to royalty, to scientists, to presidents. And Trump, he wasn't some outsider to all that. He flourished in that world. He was what Roy Cohn taught him to be. Loud enough to distract, vulgar enough to get attention, and shameless enough to survive. He didn't drink the swamp. He swam in it. He bottled it. He sold it. He is the swamp. And now his defenders, including Republican lawmakers in July 2025 actively blocking the release of Epstein files, are still protecting him. And I'm going to say the names are here in Oklahoma. Mark Wade Mullen, fucking piece of shit. You're a child predator protector. James Langford, same thing. You're a piece of shit who's protecting a child rapist and predator. Tom Cole, Representative Tom Cole, same thing. You're a piece of shit who's protecting a child rapist and predator. And this is the part that hurts the most. Ask yourself, if we know all this and we still let him let him be the president, what does this say about us? Not just the MAGA base, not just the billionaires, us, the United States, as a culture, as a country. How broken are we that child trafficking is something we can make it into a political party thing? How far gone are we when QAnon becomes the face of protecting children while literally ignoring the actual child trafficker? How numb are we when a handwritten birthday card to Epstein from the president barely makes their mind change? Like, they call it fake news. Like, what do we do now? Well, the truth is, we don't get to pretend anymore. We can't say we didn't know. We can't say it's all rumors. We can't say that was long time ago. We can't say both sides are terrible, because we have evidence. We have the timeline. We have everything. We have the silence from the GOP. We have the media blackout, and we have a population trained to move on before the accountability lands. But not this time. Come on, guys. Because this story matters. Not just because of what Trump did or didn't do, but because of what we do next. We either demand the full release of Epstein files, or we let monsters continue to rule us. We either talk about this, scream about it, keep it alive, or we become the silence that protected them. The predators that we're talking about. And the next question is like, what are we going to do with it? My thing is, you gotta call your Congress people. I did, and I left a message to Tom Cole because I was not happy that he decided to vote blocking the release of the Epstein files. Actually, I'm not surprised anymore because all these Republicans are they know they're pieces of shit. So, anyways, and then what the Democratic Party needs to do is stop with the. I saw a video of this representative standing in his office playing guitar, singing a song about it. The Democrats need to grow some guts, man, because that little stunt was so humiliating. And then the other part, Cory Booker, when they were talking, like, here's my thing: throwing your message out there is great. However, what Cory Booker hacking Jeffries did was like standing on filibustering for 12 hours or 8 hours to block something, and then nothing happens. Like, that's not what we need. We need action. Like, we actually need them to actually put some pressure. I don't care if they're the minority party. You know how much harm the Republican Party did when they were the minority party? Grow some balls, man. Just do fucking your jobs. Grow a spine. Do something, man. This is like literally red meat right here. This is blood in the water. Like, there's no way that you guys let this one loose. Because this damning evidence right here that involves Trump even more with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, do whatever it needs to do. Block any vote. Anything in Congress. And start actually impeaching this person. Sorry, I don't think he's a person. I think he's just a horrible human. Anybody who's a child predator is not a human being. So people, call you Congress people. Use the 5 Calls app. Call them. Call them in their Washington office. Call them in their local office. I don't care. Be nice to the people who work under them because sometimes they had no choice. But leave a strong message respectfully to your representative. Tell them that especially the Republican Party who voted against the release of the Epstein files, that they are protecting a child rapist and a sexual predator. And if they're the Democrats, they need to step up their game. Because this is a chance. We've been talking about like so many legal stuff that he's done that could have been impeachable. This is it. Anyways, this was a bombshell, guys. Whew. If you read the Wall Street Journal article, it's rough. Don't let anybody say that's fake, because it's not. We know Trump. He says that he wasn't a doodler or whatever. He is notorious for drawing, sending little doodles. So him drawing like the woman, the naked woman's thing, and putting his signature in the pubic hair. Come on. Anyways, take care. Have a good one, everybody. And to anybody who still defends Trump, I don't know what else to tell you. I know you're gonna send me very racist stuff on my DMs and emails, and I just say you're just an idiot. You just accept pedophilia. You just like to you're protecting a pedophile. Anyways, take care. Be loud. We'll see you next time.